Hey there. So you're thinking about opening up a second shop and you're trying to connect some dots and go, am I really ready? Is this the right time? And I think that a lot of people look at the obvious things. Do I have an extra 100 grand in the bank and sufficient funds still in your current store without putting it at risk? Is the current store running without me, etc.? But it's not just that. You want to make sure you have three things. It's going to always be cash capital, system capital, which is your store's really dialed in on systems, etc. But human capital. If you don't have the guy or the girl to open that next store, you don't have the technician, whoever it is that can carry some of that culture over there to open that next store, you're not ready. And here's the thing, if you have to take your key people out of your current store to do it, then you're also not ready, because your current store is the one laying the golden egg, right? That's the goose that you cannot kill. So a lot of people will go, I'm going to go take my best people out of my current store and go open the next store. And what do? They kill the original store, and the new store that they get open, it hardly does anything. Even though it has talented people, it doesn't have enough opportunity coming in with car count to actually capitalize on that talent. So they end up getting themselves in trouble. My recommendation is always evaluate your team. Could you take the number 2 technician in your store, make them the foreman or the lead tech at the new store, and not hurt the original? Do you have somebody else that can step up? Do you have bench depth? Your manager, do you have an assistant manager below them that could move up? Are you the manager? If you're the current manager of your current store, guess what? You can't go open up a second one and just put somebody in charge. You've got to stay there while that person is learning the ropes, and let them be the manager, stay in your owner's office, and watch them and just slowly correct them and then move on. I'm a big believer, you really don't need to open a second store until you're at least doing a couple $1 million. People think that's crazy, but at ShopFix, we've been very, very good at growing shops large. And so my big desire is to always go after shop owners that have opportunity that they don't believe they have, and convince them otherwise. Help them be successful at a level they never thought could happen. So if you're doing 50, 60K a month and you are a manager on top of your store, or you're off-site, I would not agree with that. I would tell you, you need to come back in, be a technician, be a manager, be in the store, and in 90 to 120 days, grow that store, because you're probably one of the best techs there. You're probably one of the best managers or service advisors there. So grow the store. Now I got the store up over $1 million a month. Now I can be a GM. So let's switch gears and start becoming the GM versus just a role. I'm going to be the general manager of the store. All right, now I'm learning that role. Now I'm going to get the store up over 100, 120. Now I'm going to evaluate my debt. And once I've got my debt paid, and I'm going to evaluate my savings account, and I got enough savings in the bank and I feel good about it, all right, now I'm going to go ahead and bring on a manager. A lot of people, they'll bring on a manager way too early. They'll owe all kinds of debt. You can't do that. You need that income right now for the business, because the moment you come out of the business and you actually get on top of the business as an owner, you're eating away profit. So if you've got a 3-man front counter and you're one of those people and you're doing 100 grand a month and you're the GM and the store's making 20,000 a month, the moment you promote someone else to the GM role, and then you're paying yourself 100 grand a year, and you move yourself on top of the business, guess what? You were clearing 20 grand a month. Now you're paying yourself 8 grand as an owner, officer, right? You have a GM now below you. You also have to pay 100 grand. So now your net went from 20,000 down to 12. How's that work? So what we have to make sure we understand is we now have the money in the bank. We've got the capital set up. We've got all the talent. We've got the people. We then get ourselves on top of the store, because the store's now doing north of 120. We're now mentoring that manager and getting that manager to grow that store until that store's up there around 200,000 a month. Once you start getting up there to 200,000 a month, and you're like, okay, I'm doing a couple million a year, I'd say between 1.9 and probably 2.5, 2.6, then you could go, all right, let's entertain a new store. Now, unless the store is very, very small, maybe you're in 2,200 square feet, you can't do more than like a $1.30 or $1.40, then I'll cut you some slack. But other than that, if you're in a normal size store, you need to get it larger first. So now you've got the store rocking. You're training up everybody. You might go, well, man, Aaron, I got my GM rocking. Aaron, I got my foreman or my lead tech rocking. That's great. But now you need to focus on the number 2 in either of those positions, the front of the house or the back of the house. So How's your assistant manager doing? How is the assistant lead tech, or a lot of people, if they have a foreman, they'll name the number 2 a lead tech, or if they don't have a foreman, they have a lead tech, they might name the number 2, I don't know, something else catchy, but they'll give them some title, because we all love titles, right? Be careful with that, though. That's another topic for another video. So what will happen is they'll go and they'll give that person some instruction and think they're ready. No. See, you now have to pour into those 2 people at the same level you were pouring into the original 2 for probably about the same amount of time. Once you've poured into them about the same amount of time, now we can go over here and set up the next deal. And what does the next deal look like? The next deal looks like you setting up a shop that meets all the criteria for an amazing location, that will be easier than your original store, because you're going to pick even a better location than the original. You've got the money in the bank, you got the systems dialed in, and you take that assistant manager and that assistant foreman over to this new location. That brings your culture, and then you hire out the rest of it. That way your original store, you don't mess anything up there. You keep your risk low. If you do that, you're going to see massive, massive growth. One of the mistakes I see owners make is they continually rob from that original store. And a lot of it's understandable. The employees are like, oh, the new store's got new lifts, it's got new tire machines, new alignment machines, new computers. I want to be in a new store. New epoxy floors, it's beautiful. I get that. The problem with that mentality, though, they don't understand the risk they're taking. And if you go give them a guarantee over there for too long, you may not understand the risk you're taking. We need to take our 2 top people over and then hire around them off the street and train those people. Do that and do it the right way. Guys, you're going to win and do tremendously well. It's the number 1 mistake everybody makes. They think it's the money. They think it's always going to be their systems, or, oh, Aaron, I can finally leave for a month at a time. My shop runs on its own. That's great. At the end of the day, it's the people. Have you poured into your number 2 people in the front of the house and the back of the house? If you've done that, you might be ready. If you like this tip and you want to know more, go to shopfixtraining.com and sign up for a free training where you can get a lot more information. I'll see you in the next video.